Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk to you about why some people say you can't recover from OCD and how it relates to you. So, when a person says they can't recover from OCD, it can stem from a few different things. It can be that they saw a doctor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist who said, "Hey, you can't recover." And they're like, "Okay, well, my doctor said I can't recover." That person doesn't know how many people with OCD has this doctor seen. And I'm telling you, just from purely mathematical perspective, that unless a doctor specializes in OCD, like they have a giant sign kind of thing, or they promote themselves as a specialist in OCD, they'll see people with all kinds of mental issues, and OCD is actually not that common. So, if they have a kind of a brick and mortar office, right, a physical office, only local people will come to see them. Some people will drive to see them, but it still will be kind of area. So in that area, how many people even have OCD that are going to go see that doctor? Not that many. And out of those people, how many people specifically have the same OCD as this person that went to see this doctor, and the doctor's like, "I've never seen this before, I don't know how to help you." They try to work on the recovery process. The doctor probably doesn't know what they're doing very well, because again, this is the first time they're dealing with this. So they're like, "I don't know, maybe you just can't recover, maybe you just have to accept it." So then the person takes this to mean as, "Okay, for sure, now I got this from a doctor, I can never recover, okay." And that's how they go through life now, knowing that they can't recover because that person said that. So that's one way. Another way is when a person does recovery work, they get to a level from 10 out of 10 to about, say, 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10. At that level, OCD is no longer taking over your life. OCD is kind of a whisper, right? If we consider, we all know what 10 out of 10 is like, right? And we all know what life, well, we kind of remember, right, what life was like before OCD. For some people, they didn't even have that experience, but for those that did, they kind of remember what it was like before OCD. So imagine life before OCD plus 10%. Is it really important to do recovery work? Yes, it is. But to the person, they're living life, they're fine. It doesn't really interfere in the course of the day. Yeah, there's a little whisper there, but so what, right? And if you don't take care of it fully, it will remain there. So if you say, for example, let's take it in practical terms. If you have harm OCD, you're afraid of knives, let's say. So you are generally pretty much okay using knives. It's not that big of a deal. But in certain situations, you still kind of do a compulsion. So you still kind of maybe stay just a little bit away from people, just a little bit. And you're kind of keeping it on life support. And realistically, if you continue to engage in those behaviors, or in a more pure type of situation, engaging in rumination, even if it's a little bit, but it's a little bit for you, but it's a little more than an average person would even think about it. So it's not zero. It's just a little bit more, right? You're still keeping it on life support. And the problem with that is that, what if you go through some sort of stressful situation? This situation right now with COVID comes to mind, right? That if you're in a situation where you're stressed out, OCD will not for sure spike, but there's a good chance that it will spike. And if OCD comes stronger, then how are you going to react, right? And then you can start to slide back. So that's why it's important to finish the process. And even more so with this kind of, when you're feeling good doing recovery work, even if you're still in the beginning stages of recovery and you just started to do work and you just started to see progress, on the days that you're like, "I feel great, this is so great," still do exposure work. Still focus on not getting into it. Because if you feel great in the course of a day, but here and there you did a little compulsion to keep feeling great, you're going to start to fall down the next day or the day after that for sure. So it's like you feel bad, you do recovery work. You feel a little better, you do recovery work. Or OCD is almost gone, you still do recovery work. And when OCD is fully gone, for the first, I would say, first little while, like first 6 months, just try to get the nervous system balanced back out. Don't stress out too much. Don't put yourself in situations where you get anxious, just generally in life where you get anxious. Again, right now with this COVID thing, it is more difficult, but just try to kind of take it as, okay, am I doing everything I can? Am I isolating? Am I doing this? Okay, that's all I can do. Now I'm not going to think about this because it's stressful and there's no point. I'm moving on with real life stuff, right? So kind of almost treating this kind of stuff the same way, because stress always affects OCD. So my point being is that a lot of the times people stop doing recovery work when they feel that they're generally okay. They're not perfect, but they're generally okay. And it's important to finish it. And if you don't finish it, you can say, okay, yeah, I've almost got over OCD for the last 40 years. You know what I mean? Because if you kind of left things at the 10%, but you never went further, then at 10%, they will stay. There's also a group of people, you see them all the time on like groups and things, talking about how I just accept that I will never recover. Give me all the medications of the world. I'm not doing any recovery work. I will, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, basically, the motto for them is, I'm not going to do ERP. So if your stance is, I will not do ERP, and I accept that I won't recover, then how would this person, how would they recover, really, right? And then if you ask this person, can you recover from OCD, they'll say absolutely not. So with OCD recovery, basically how it relates to you, okay? Basically, if you say I can recover, you are right. If you say I can't recover, you are also right. It's what you make it. If you put in the recovery work, if you continue to do this until you get to 0 out of 10, I've done it, and I can tell you that even post 0 out of 10, it's good to kind of apply this ERP concept to everyday life as well. Like if something stresses you out, whatever, little life situations, should you pay attention to them? Should you, take them seriously? Or should you just choose to disregard, right? So taking that ERP, choosing to disregard to everyday life as well, just to normalize that initial sensitivity that caused the OCD, right? Kind of becoming just accepting of life as it is. Okay, say for example, coronavirus, can't go outside, stuck. Okay, all right, I'm choosing to accept that this is the reality right now. I'm not going to stress out over it because I'm choosing to not get stressed out over it. I'm choosing to not ruminate on it, right? So it's coming from a position of choice. That's why I have the channel, the Power Over Mind channel. This is kind of the post-recovery where I'm talking about things that relate to handling life after recovery. So basically, if you do recovery work, if you reduce sensitivity overall to everyday life, that you don't get stressed out, because stress causes OCD, right? So if you reduce stress in life, there's a less chance of a setback, right? So if you do all those things, you can and will recover. As I always say on the channel, right? Track the amount of time you're ruminating. Track the amount of compulsions you're doing. No excuses. There's no excuse why you can't track those things. And again, like I don't mean walk around with a pencil, but just a few times a day, note how anxious are you getting. And just reduce. Even if you reduce by a little bit, you will get there. You just have to push. You just have to keep going. And I promise you, you do this, you will recover. I hope you find my videos helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you would like to do one-on-one recovery program with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. You can sign up from there. You can also book the sessions from there, set up the appointments. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.